mm,
Just quickly, I want to ask just another question.
mm,
What moment in parenting would you say um made you feel most confident as a parent?
mm,
So
mm,
what are the things that you could say, okay, yes, as a parent, I felt this backbone that yes, I'm on the right path.
good. Yeah. So I think there's three areas. One is the fact that all our children love the Lord. They
Mm,
go to church. I mean, they're obviously all grown up now. Even when they're at an age when they could have decided, I don't want to go, they willingly wanted to go to church. And they're not
mm,
just going to church, they're actually active in church, doing things in church. Not because we've said, well, you have to go to church, but because they decided that's what they actually wanted to do.
mm,
That just made us feel good because um, it shows that it's they grew up seeing us do it, and they got to a point where they themselves desire to do it, to serve God. And serving God and walking intimately with God is the most important thing. It's
mm,
the most important gift you can give your children, because
mm,
that's what keeps them going when they go through life's issues, when they're grown up. And obviously that's where we are now. Our children are grown up. They're all going off. Our son's moved out of the house now. He's bought his own place. He's now living on his own. Our daughter obviously is married. She's off. We have the youngest one, which we know maybe in a year or two he'll probably be gone. Um, so it's that's made me feel, yeah, we got this right. From the moment all of them were in the womb, I used to lay my hands on my wife's stomach and pray for
mm,
them. This was even before they were born. So seeing them the way they are is a confirmation that God answered our prayers. And yeah, we did get that right. That's one. The second one was in their careers. All three children have had exceptional in their education from primary school all the way to university. They've always been at the top of their game. We've never had a time, maybe just once when one of our sons was he got carried away, and it wasn't that he failed. It's just that he didn't do as well as he should have done. And the moment I noticed that I took it on, he was back to normal. They've always done exceptionally well. They've always been on top of their class. They've always had the best grades in their school. I mean, our youngest son had, that's what he had, 9 A stars and 1 A for his GCSEs. He had 3 A stars for his A levels, even though he was ill during that time. Same thing, our oldest son also fantastic GCSE results, one of the best in his school. Then went over to do his A levels, did okay with A levels, and then went to university, left with a first class honors and a distinction in his masters. Our daughter, the same thing too. Fantastic results, got into a good university, studied engineering. Son studied financial engineering, financial economics. Our youngest son studied computing in Imperial. Daughter went to Durham. Son went to Essex. So they've all come out with fantastic education. Seeing that made us realize that we got that aspect right, because we paid particular attention to the academics. We made sure we gave them guidance. We educated ourselves. We spoke to people to get information, and we gave them advice. We took them when they needed extra lessons. We made sure we sacrificed for that. Which I remember the times was difficult because it was expensive. We made sure we were there for them. So things like not messing around with your phone when you're supposed to be studying, making sure they're downstairs where we can see them study. All those things we did. And then looking at them now, knowing what they're earning and the jobs and the salaries and the fact that they're doing very well in their careers just gives us so much pride that we got that right. The third example I'm going to give is investment. When my oldest son got his first, no, was it his first? I'm not sure whether his first or second job, and he was earning a lot of money. He decided he wanted to buy a car. And this is where as parents sometimes we miss it, which is something I love to share because I think people can learn from it. So he said, obviously he knows I know a lot about cars, and I like cars. So he said, "Oh, Dad, I want to go and have a look at this car, and can we go and look at it together?" I said, "Oh yeah, 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 so son." I said, "What car do you want?" He said, "Oh, it's a Mercedes. I've been looking at it," and he was showing me the picture, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, really? Is this what you really want to buy now because you got a job and you're getting a little bit of change? That's your priority right now. You don't even have a house, you're still living at home. But I just bit my tongue and I went along with him. I went to the showroom, went to look at the car and was if I sometimes when I wanted to so it was obviously it's a young man. He was trying to prove that I'm a young man and I'm earning money and I know what I'm doing. So I just backed off. I was just there in the background, let him do all the talking. The only times I would get involved is if I noticed that he didn't know certain aspect, and I would just put tip in, because we were the dealers and everything. So
Mm,
when we left and we're driving away, I was like, oh, in my mind, I was thinking, you're joking. Does he really want to spend all that money on the car when he hasn't even bought a place yet?
mm,
Before we got home, he turned around and said, Dad, I've thought about it. I'm not going to buy that car. I'm just going to get something simple. For me, that was one of the I was happiest moments of. I was like, wow, it's interesting. They actually do listen. So I'm
mm,
just going to get a simple car.
yeah,
As you've always said to us, I need to buy a place first, then I can get a car later because once I buy a house, then everything else can follow later. The car is not an investment and everything. And he was coming up with all this stuff. I've been ringing into their ears. As
yeah,
they were growing up, they heard me talk about it. I felt so
mm,
proud as a parent that day because I just thought to myself, yes, he's got it. And and he followed it through. He didn't stop or said, Dad, okay, now I am thinking of buying a house. Well, I want you to give me, how do I go about it? So I was showing him the ropes, telling him, told him to speak to my mortgage broker, gave him all the stuff, all the tips and everything. And then he bought his house. And I felt like the proudest parent because I thought this boy, or sorry, this man, is a man, your child always be a boy, listened. And I could see
mm,
from what he's done, what I said, I'm so proud of you, son. You have no idea how proud of you that you actually do listen and you did this the right way. So those are three moments I can. I mean, obviously there are countless others, but I think I'll stop there for now.
that's really, really, really insightful. So the first one is the fact that the foundation of their beliefs,
Yes.
which is in God, because that's what will take you through life. And we find that if we look at Christians in any part of the world today, and we look at people who don't believe in anything or whatever they say they believe in, you
Mm-hmm.
find that in terms of mental health, even now, even in mental health now, we're beginning to talk about spirituality.
Oh
It's
yes.
amazing. So you find that even science is beginning to discover that to keep a man, when I say man, man or woman, sane and functioning properly, there must be a dependency on
Mm.
a higher power,
Oh yes.
which is God, because
Yes.
they are discovering that there is the spiritual aspect of a man. And regardless of how much you may satisfy the person physically or it may be okay physically, if the spiritual aspect is not um, dealt with, that man will not be complete. So the
Yeah.
first thing you have mentioned is bringing them up in
Mm.
their spiritual awareness, which is
Yeah.
having their own personal relationship with God, which is
Yes.
very important. The second thing is paying careful attention, and I'm highlighting that paying careful attention to the tools that they would use in life, which one
Yes.
of the main one is their education, you
Mm.
know. And I'll highlight something you didn't mention, even though you said it. If you look, you've read through the lines, is educating them in the normal education system which we have,
Yeah.
monitoring and guiding them, which is what
Mm.
a number of parents don't do. Just say,
Yes.
oh, whatever, just do whatever you want to do. And then later on, they now have problems. They're struggling in life because parents have
Mm.
not guided them. So their friends
Mm.
will guide them, or
Yes.
social
Yes.
media will guide them. Because
Yeah.
children, like you said earlier on before, they
Mm.
are being they are created as children to want guidance. That's why they have
Yeah.
parents. If
Yes.
not, they wouldn't have parents. So they need
Yes.
guidance.
Yes.
And that's very important. So you don't just leave a child just to go wild on his own or our own, or else the child will be guided by somebody else, which may be
Hmm.
very nice. And then you
Yes.
have a child, and I wonder, why is my child like this? Well, because you didn't guide your child. You allowed
Yes.
to guide.
Absolutely.
So you guided
Absolutely.
them right in terms of the educational structure of the normal structure of the education, but also the educational system of life. Because there's
Yeah.
something you said. You said your son said he wanted to go and buy a car, but because you've been educating him about life,
Hmm.
which he will not learn in school, he
Yes.
was, of course, he got his degree in school. He was
Yeah.
able to get a good job from school. But the common sense to pick the right things that
Hmm.
from your education on life. So he
Mm.
made the right choices. Now he has a
Mm.
house. Now, of course, he has gotten a car. But
Mm.
imagine if he didn't have that education, he could have
Mm.
just loaned the money
Yeah.
and just been squandering. And then, you know, he's not made much progress of his life like he should have. And of
Yes.
course, the third thing which you mentioned is investment. That's which
Mm.
I'm moving on from that investment, which is still, like I said, the lesson of life. So there are two
Right.
types
Yes.
of education guidance in the structural system we have in the system, in a country, but also the education of life, which
Mm.
is something I find that especially, and I'm beginning to see that, especially parents that have women or
Mm.
daughters. I remember there's something I watched once or I listened to once, and there's something the man said, or what? No, it was the daughter actually, and she said she was trying to actually say that her father taught her well. So
Mm.
in going into society, nobody could deceive her or fool her. She was
Mm.
smart, so she knew already. This guy, I know what this guy is after. You understand? I
Hmm.
know what this person is after. I know. So she had her head screwed on right.
Yes.
Imagine if her parents did not teach her.
Yes.
She would have had to learn from experience. And
Mm.
sometimes it could be very expensive to learn from
Very
experience.
expensive. Yes.
That
Yes.
that's really, really really insightful.